Let's welcome all of our panel discussion panelists and moderator. Please give them a round of welcome.
我还是讲中文。那个我老板 PC 他一直叫我学英文，可是我就是说我很懒。他说我找个家教去你家里教你，我说我很懒，我实在没时间想这个事情。好，那我想基本上我先从这个题目开始了哈。那基本上是说我们面临一个产能跟需求之间怎么做平衡这件事情。那我想要几个 story 哈。我1996年进到 LED 这个产业，那经历过手机、notebook 跟 TV， 那跟 lighting， 那这里有几个情形哦，跟大家分享一下，就是说手机刚开始的时候，我们号称手机那时候大概就1只，那一个手机大概只有5颗嘛哈，所以大概都顶多30颗，30亿颗。那到 notebook 的时候可能有2亿台，可是 notebook 在用的时候可能要在30-40颗，所以这成长倍率可能都是3倍。然后到 TV 的时候 ，TV 顶多几千万台到1亿台，可是做 equivalent 成小颗的那个手机的时候，几乎是要400-500颗，所以它的量又是 notebook 的15倍。那到兆米的时候，你想想看，家里顶多2台电视嘛，那可是你家里可能有3个房间、4个房间，那这个需要的量又是 TV 的，可能是50倍到100倍。那这个产业里面我在发展，我就看过，我在 XR 几年来，刚开始手机用在手机的时候在赶产能，每天都说没有设备，那加班要买设备，那可是 notebook 没有起来，就大家扩产的时候，就发现 notebook 还没接起来的时候，那段时间就有一段时间就是休息期，有一段时间就 oversupply， 那到 notebook 起来的时候，又是休息又不够。那 notebook 那手机在TV 在2009年才起来，所以在2008年的时候又是一个 oversupply。那现在老实说 ，TV 已经饱和，如果 lighting 没有起来，又是一个 oversupply。所以这里面我们有去平衡这些事情，可能大家要做一下思考。好，那第二个我要讲的是说，我最近因为这一次金融海啸吧。不算金融海啸，但那个欧盟还有美国这边经济又有一些危机，然后看了2本书，一本叫《经济为什么搞砸》，那一本叫《经济为什么一定要成长》，就 Possibility without Growth。那里面都提了很多概念，就是说我们其实都印钞票在换成长，那也就是为了成长，所以把市场打坏掉。那你会看到像现在一台42寸的3D 的电视 ，LCD 的电视卖不到一台 iPad 的价格。那这个就是说整个市场下来了，结果每一个公司都说我要 growth， 那会怎么办？就杀价。所以杀价的结果就是price 一直涨，就最后大家没赚钱。那这个部分里面就回到今天的主题，就是说。我们怎么能在产能跟市场需求之间能够去 balance？ 所以我想请各位与会的嘉宾来做一个很简单的一个 introduction。好，开始。先从大哥开始。
刚才应该带到。有。刚发现。
Okay, you're asking, because I have the translation on it. About the balance between supply and demand. I think being an equipment supplier, you're at the very beginning of the food chain, and my observation is that the further you're up the food chain, the stronger the amplitudes are, the more exposed you are to the ups and downs. And over the past 10 years, I've seen several cycles already, and I think for us, we need to be prepared. We need to go with the cycle. There's not too much we can do from our end to influence that too much. I think we need to be prepared whenever the market goes down. You need to have enough cash in the pocket to be able to have enough inertia to sail through this period. And you need to use this period resources you have to develop new technologies, to make it more competitive, more productive, and be ready for the next wave. Because so far what we've seen, every wave has been larger than the previous one. I would say right now we are in between two applications. One is the backlighting. That is, I would say that the capacities are basically there, and solid state lighting has not picked up to the same level yet. It's going to be much bigger, but we are now between these two cycles. So the question for us is not if, but when will the next wave be coming? And again, we cannot, as an equipment supplier, we cannot really influence it. We can only be ready for it and adapt to this cycle.
In principle, so to answer this question is very difficult. So my answer is there is no solution to this. So if you are involved in supply and demand feedback cycle, so we cannot get rid of the large gap. So in order to get rid of the cycle, we must make some innovations by making not an feedback, but an feed forward. In other words, so in order to innovate or create new technology or new market, maybe with the customer, without that kind of innovation, we cannot get rid of a large ramp up and down.
So I think, yes, again, this supply-demand balance question, this question has been around for a long time, and we keep looking at this balance and question. I think from an MOCVD supply standpoint, what we can do from a business model standpoint is to become more flexible. We can adjust and react to the change in supply and demand cycles. If you look at, not just LED industry, if you look at other industries, right? Technology industries, in semi, in display, these industries go through the same cycles, so LED is no different. But from an MOCVD's equipment supply standpoint, we should be ready to adjust, to be flexible for these cycle changes. And the way to do that is, in terms of our business model, is to adjust our capacity quickly to fit what the customer's needs are. So, in terms of using outsourcing for manufacturing of our equipment, to be ready to react quickly when orders come in, to be ready to change our cost model when industry is going through a down cycle. So I think that's one key thing. The second key thing is be always ready in terms of any technological change in the industry. While during a down cycle, this is the best time for us to actually increase our investments and to beef up our R&D capability to get ready for the next upcycle. As Christian earlier said, that our industry went through first mobile applications, then we have backlighting for TV, and general lighting cycle is just beginning to accelerate. And right now, probably the industry is going through a short correction at the moment. But this opportunity in terms of general lighting is very big, right? We're looking at, for the next couple of years, somewhere in the order of magnitude of a couple of thousands of MOCVD chambers in terms of opportunity standpoint. So there's still quite a long way to go, right? In terms of LED lighting adoption, it's the adoption rate is still quite low. So again, basically in terms of business model, in terms of technology from the equipment standpoint, we should always be ready.
I guess I pretty much agree with Dr. Lee. I think there's, well, basically to drive the market is technology, and especially being ready when you see a downturn. And from the tool supplier point of view, I think, we always say this industry is the industry of difference. So which means, we do need the growth. Without growth, there will be no tool sale. And certainly this will be, we need to follow our customers. So that's for sure. So again, I agree with Dr. Ken. You got to get cash to when you facing difficulties, especially for our customers, because we see from our experience as a semiconductor, the companies with cash, they can do the investments when they're at the bottom in the market, and actually they make the best deal, and then they can be ready when the next cycle is coming, right? So I guess basically I think technology should be the driver, and if you look at the semiconductor, anytime the cycle is not just repeated. Always with new technology. I think, for both the chip making, whoever, including the equipment, that we need to be ready for the next cycle with upgraded technology.
各位来宾有没有要请教各位来宾的？
我们现在就目前是开放给就是来宾跟现场的讲者互动。Now we'd like to open the floor to everyone to raise any questions that you have for our panelists. Please just raise your hand if you have any questions, and we will deliver the microphones to you. 如果贵宾有任何的问题的话，烦请举手，我们会把麦克风递给您，谢谢。后面有一位贵宾。
Hi, just wanted to ask on your reference in terms of there's a correction in terms of the general lighting demand. What do you think would cause that demand to start up again? And how, in your view, what is the likelihood of that timing?
I didn't mean to say there's a correction in terms of application to lighting. Actually, I think the proliferation of LEDs into lighting is quicker than expected, but the market is still so small. It's growing rapidly on a relative scale, but since it's so small, it cannot, at this point, it cannot make up for the slightly slower backlighting market, slightly slower than expected. I think the backlighting market is a bit slower because the penetration is slightly lower than forecasted, but not far away. And the television market is a bit weak due to the economy in Europe and USA at this moment. So again, since the lighting market is still on a fairly small compared to the backlighting, that's why it cannot make up for this now. But it's actually, I think, growing faster than originally forecasted.
The other comment I want to make about is, the general lighting market is that we should look at from a long-term medium to long-term perspective, what are some of the drivers for the general lighting, and whether or not these drivers are happening or going to happen. So there are a number of different factors. One is from a cost standpoint. If you look at the high brightness LED ASPs, historical trend has been dropping somewhere around 20%, a little over 20% year over year. But recently, since 2010 and early 2011, the ASPs has been dropping faster than 20%. It's probably somewhere in the ballpark of about 50%. So that's a positive indicator. As your cost and the price of LEDs dropping more rapidly, that we are expecting the adoption of LEDs in the lighting to accelerate. The other factor is the phasing out and banning of the incandescent light bulbs. And basically, if you look at the plans that many different countries around the world are having right now or going to have in place, that transition is going to drive more demand for LEDs into lighting. For example, starting in 2012, right, we're going to see a number of countries will start banning incandescent light bulbs, and going into 2013, there will be even more countries starting to ban. So that will create, that will be another driver for that. The other thing also is, what's happening in markets like, Europe and US. Although these markets are, facing, macroeconomic headwind ahead of them, but if you look at, in terms of LED lighting growth for companies that provide LED lighting, to these markets, they're actually seeing a healthy kind of momentum continuing for LED lighting. So that's a good sign. In addition, also is if you look at the China market as well, the demand mainly is driven by outdoor lighting, street lighting, tunnel lighting, and these demand is going to help drive the industry as well. And if the government decides to do more in terms of subsidizing the end market, that will create another further driver for the growth of the market. So looking at a number of different factors, right, happening now and going to happen in the future, I think for general lighting, it's positive in medium and long term.
In Japan, so LED lighting is today very popular. And if you visit your large consumer electronics shop, so most of the lighting, brand new lighting is made of LEDs. And the price is around 200 US dollars or so. So it looks affordable for usual persons. So in Japan, so the LED lighting would be, it looks like a very common lighting, maybe at least in these days. And the report tells us that the total market of an incandescent lamp replaced is around 500 million dollars, and the number of light bulb sold in this year would be 20 million. So in order to produce this amount of LEDs, maybe we need only 3 production scale LVP2. So the even though the market looks very impressive, but the total amount of LED chip is not very large at this moment. But then if the most of the major lighting is replaced by LED or OLED, maybe we need a 10 times larger yeah, in near future in Japan. But rest of the Japan, maybe the people are more sensitive to the price. So at the moment, I'm not sure. I have no answer to that.
Well, I guess everyone will say something. Well, short term, I have no idea. I guess actually from the technology development point of view, for some, we hope the cycle can be another peak can come a little bit later. Is how from our background point of view, right? So, but for the mid long term, I agree with you. All of the other panelists' idea that we need to be ready. I always want to come back to technology because after the disaster in Japan the last March, at least the things so I can make decisions. All of my institutes we replaced all of the bulbs to the LED lighting actually. But then what happens? Everyone looks pale because the LED is not good. I think everyone's are you okay? That's what we say to each other. So which means if we can really improve the technology and also I guess you need to drive the cost down. And then I think probably we're going to spend money to replace the just implement adopted the lighting again. So that I guess means the new added value was added market there. So there's I guess we always come back to technology and we want to say technology will be driver.
Dr. Matsumoto, you prepared this very extensive slide for our first question. I was wondering if you'd be interested in going over it and sharing it with us.
我用中文讲啊，其实基本上我有2个问题可以跟大家分享一下，就是说，第一个就是你的售价跟你要取代的价格之间的比例，那就像 LCD 用 LED 的时候要回来跟机械轮比嘛哈。那我们看过一个报告，就是说，如果你 LED 的售价跟白炽灯泡比，比如说你的价差是30倍，那渗透率可能就 0.1%。那如果说可以是10倍，渗透率可能就是4%，5倍可能就是10%。那这个还是要回到 LED 我们这里大学的人怎么样把这个 cost 做低。另外一个部分是能源价格，其实像台湾能源价格是很低的，那基本上就有问题。那另外一个是政策的补助哈，那我这边要 complain 台湾政府，包含全世界政府都很奇怪。第一个就是说，大家都在补助收拉税，那可以讲一下台湾补助收拉税，1度电补助多少钱？大家记得吗？8块台币。可是如果我今天讲说 ，F-star 如果我们今天可以 deliver 出一个60瓦的灯泡，白炽灯泡嘛，那我们现在10瓦就可以做到，所以是省50瓦的电。那我们灯泡的效率寿命不用讲什么10万小时，只要2万小时就好了。那所以2万到这个灯把它丢掉的时候，50瓦2万小时，所以是省了1000度的电。所以省了多少？政府应该补助我8000块，对不对？那不用补助那么多，只要补助我10%，那800块购买那个灯了。所以其实很多政策的补助是方向是不太对的。OK， 那不晓得大家还有没有什么其他的问题？
Hello. According to the seminar arranged today, I think the yield problem it seems like it already be solved. But according to LED Insight, some reports mention about that. Okay, for instance, we know many companies in China, they bought a lot of MOCVD equipment, but so far they decide to shut down their machine because about the yield problem, and they do have some serious yield problem. So I would like to ask could you describe their situation and maybe you also have some solution? Thank you very much.
Okay, I don't have a solution on the spot. I think there are multiple reasons for idling a system, and yield issue is only one of them. I mean, there was a lot of expansion driven by subsidies. That is, and rather than actual demand that may play into this game as well. But talking about yield, I think it is very important how you operate the equipment. I mean, we showed yield. Rico showed some slides on yield. So did I. This is what you can achieve, but you have to run the equipment appropriately, properly, and there's a lot of mistakes you can make, and in a market that grows so rapidly, the most valuable thing is the engineer resource, and I think in China we're facing a severe lack of engineer resources, and that contributes to yield issues. Mainly, I would say. How can we help? Well, Rico as well as Extron are working on establishing training centers in China to help our customers. We train the customers on site, at their site, in their fabs, in our companies, and now in regional training centers. I believe that is extremely important.
So yes, I certainly can resonate with what Christian just talked about. That one of the issues that China faces right now, there's a lot of capacity added or MOCVD capacity installed. But these capacity, in order for it to become a production capacity, these tools need to be ramped up and become production ready. And one of the issues we faced by a lot of the companies, a lot of them are new entrants to the market, is that they need to have the engineering experience. They need to have the qualified engineers and quite a number of them to help them to qualify these tools and get them into production. So one of the things that companies like Extron and Eagle, what we do is basically to try to support our customers as best as possible by providing them with the training, necessary training, in terms of helping them quickly start equipment for production. The other thing too, from an equipment standpoint, is going back to my previous presentation, is how do we design the system better for high volume manufacturing? There are several key things. One of them is make the system ease of use is very important. Highly automated is very important, so that these systems can be quickly start up and get into production. And also, utilizing a lot of the technologies, for example, from semiconductor world, to enable and get these systems to be higher productivity. So these are some of the things that MOCVD manufacturers can do. Now, looking at the market perspective, obviously the market is not completely efficient. Okay, so from MOCVD capacity standpoint, from the utilization standpoint, it really depends on how these different LED manufacturers position their business and how do they utilize the capacity on hand. So, for example, because of the nature of the LED industry, a lot of capacity being added in China, not really supplying to the world market for LED at this moment. And a lot of them are being supplied probably domestically to supply the market needs at that point. And so for the rest of the world, right, in terms of LED demand, you have capacity that are capable of providing to meet that demand. But going forward, there could be still opportunities in terms of adding capacity to meet the demand for the rest of the world. And also, the other thing depends on the business model of the LED manufacturers. Some LED manufacturers, in terms of their business model and the markets that they cater to, the applications that they supply to, for example, mainly for backlighting, for example. So some of those companies right now, they're seeing that their utilization are kind of at a medium to low level, maybe like around 50-60% utilization. The reason is that because of their business currently, right now, is still mainly catering to backlighting, whereas some other businesses where their their revenue mix is more diverse. So maybe 20% or more than 20% supplying to the lighting market. So in terms of this, utilization of the capacity is less impacted because of that. Maybe running at 70% or slightly higher currently. So, again, it depends on the business model, the markets that they serve. Maybe there are certain restrictions on where they're located and what markets can they serve as a result of that.
So we, Chinese concerns have not contributed the large size of the Chinese market.
We contributed 0. So, okay, but I do have a comment. I guess the question has been specifying MOCVD, but I don't know if the yield problem is only being contributed by MOCVD only or not. So what I'm trying to say is that if you look at this process, there's so many processes there will affect your yield, including so many things. So that's why I have been addressing all that, because we're working on numerous different technology, which I guess all of them somehow contribute to the manufacturing and the yield. So that's why we have the intention to come up with a necessary, not everything, but necessary solution which can be beneficial for the customers. And we have another experience in all that, which is because we're also working on the technology for solar cell. So basing on the stage of the customer, like China, for the solar cell, we call turnkey technology. So okay, as long as you have cash, you can make things. So depending on the stage of the customer, the turnkey can be a way to say, okay, if we can come up with a solution or a turnkey technology, then because people ask us to say, okay, not only just bring the line, guarantee the product, and somehow not really the product, just some level, and also build a building for us. So I guess this is a little bit too much for LED, but depending on the stage, I think that's also I guess all that's looking at process solution development. That's one motivation.
This limit. One question.
We'd like to take one last question and we will end the session. 那边有一位。
I would like to know about the 6-inch and 8-inch wafer. When will it become the mainstream process? Could you talk about it?
I'll make it short. We have, I showed it this morning, we have the equipment was ready for 6-inch back in 2006. Today the equipment is ready for 8-inch, and I believe that we can say the same thing or similar for Vico, but the industry today, LED industry today, uses mainly 4-inch. There's still a lot of 2-inch systems in production, but the new equipment going into the field is mainly in Taiwan is mainly 4-inch. In China, still a lot of 2-inch. 6-inch, I believe, has been developed by 6-inch processes have been developed by most of the LED chip manufacturers. If you walk into some of the LED chip manufacturers' lobby, you can see 6-inch wafers on display. But they're not using it in large-scale production at this point. I believe it's mainly because of substrate price at the moment. More than any technological hurdles, it's the substrate price. As soon as that price goes down, then 6-inch will quickly become mainstream, I think. When will that happen? Probably in Western countries before Asian countries. As we've seen a similar situation moving from 2-inch to 4-inch. I doubt, for Taiwan, I doubt that it's going to be next year in large scale.
So with regard to the wafer size, I think what we are currently seeing is there's a quite, also ASP drop quite rapid as well, especially for 2-inch and 4-inch. I think for 2-inch we're hearing somewhere below $10 per wafer, and for 4-inch also has been dropping quite quickly. I mean, in general, about maybe 40% or so for the few quarters. And I think as long as the price for the substrate remains depressed, right, for 2-inch and 4-inch, that and also for 6-inch, it is going to come down quickly enough. 2 and 4-inch is probably going to be still the dominated substrate. In terms of what we're seeing is obviously, we have manufacturers already have, developing, working on 6-inch. Probably a few looking into transitioning in production for 6-inch as well. But again, this is probably more from a technology standpoint, right? From the equipment standpoint, we're ready. Our systems can do it. We can do 6-inch. We have 8-inch capability as well. But it's probably more from a cost, manufacturing cost standpoint, whether or not how soon that's going to transition into. Thank you.
Maybe in Japan, I'm not very sure about the 6 inches already in production or not. It is rather difficult to answer. And but then it looks like the R&D on 6-inch sapphire has been already completed. So when the price of the 6-inch sapphire is lower than some critical value, so they will switch to 6-inch.
My engineer told me, because Sensor have demo good purpose on gallium nitride silicon. What's your comment?
Gallium nitride on silicon? Oh yes, gallium nitride on silicon would be a very promising technology, but today we need a very thick buffer structures in order to compensate the large tensile stress. Therefore, we need twice as much precursors to grow gallium nitride on silicon. So this may compensate the low price of substrate. So therefore, we need some additional idea about how to reduce the thickness of buffer layers. And also, by using SLS or thick alkane, the growth time is also long compared with the on sapphire. Therefore, it reduces the throughput. Also, this is impact on the cost. Therefore, if you today the gallium nitride on silicon is not a cheap technology, but a very difficult and expensive, maybe expensive technology. So for an electronic device, there is no answer other than the silicon substrate. Therefore, they use a large diameter silicon substrate. But for an LED, maybe we need additional advantage by using silicon substrate.
Little and the actual silicon substrate goes.
Okay, we make the buffer thinner than the liquid Wenzel, and we don't have time-consuming superlattices either, but still we're not observing a real breakthrough in the LED technology. And it's partially attributed, I believe, to the low price of the sapphire, meanwhile. What an application that we are seeing getting really popular now is power management devices, made from gallium nitride and silicon. And that is a huge market potential, and I believe we will be seeing a strong growth for that application. And I think that is going to create a lot of momentum, which will impact the LED market in the end as well. That's my view.
I think like any other MOCVD suppliers, you can't really not look into gallium and silicon development and preparation for the applications of either LED or the power electronics market. So it is critical to be proactive, to be ready for those markets. And I think that from a system standpoint, that Veeco's TurboDisc technology do offer some advantages in terms of that type of application. One thing, in power electronics market is, with regard to any electronics, is cleanliness, particles issue, and in the inherent design of TurboDisc MOCVD, the system runs a very clean operation, and I think that this is one of the technology advantages that our company and our systems can offer for that market, for that application. I think that other activities like compositional uniformity, thickness uniformity, these things are also quite important in these applications as well. And in terms of reactor design consideration, those factors needs to be looked into and taken into account. And I think that from a TurboDisc technology standpoint, that we do provide that advantage to our customers. But obviously, there are also a lot of challenges. Basically to have the process ready and bring those processes into a production environment, high volume manufacturing. So we understand that LED manufacturers are working very hard and tirelessly to develop those processes and structures to get those technologies into production. And as an MOCVD supplier, we're working tirelessly to support our customers to move toward that front. Thank you.
This would be the last question because we have a time issue.
因为那个上面做的都是做那个equipment啊，然后呢，我想问那个谢博士一个问题啊，就是因为你是客户嘛，他们的客户，因为你是最好的那个价格，就说现在设计的这个2英寸啊的这个 MOCVD 吧，可能到4英寸可能也还行。但是呢，如果他们说他们也可以用到6英寸和8英寸，他们的那个 slide 都修嘛，对吧？可以用现在的这个设备用到6英寸和8英寸。你觉得现有的设备用到6英寸和8英寸，由于它它这个撑体这个尺寸明显增大所导致的一些问题，现在的设备可以用吗？
你用中文，我就用中文回答。F3因为目前很多公司啊，所以我们所有的 MOCD 应该都有 ，Little 的、Expo 的都有。那 Little Sense 其实阿弟买了一台，应该是这个月或者下个月会进来，应该是 UR25那一台，因为我们也在看说有没有什么机会。那我想，我们现在主要生产来讲，一半以上都是4寸的了哈。那我们公司告诉我，或者因为我们是长眼睛的啦 ，carry 换就大致上没什么问题。那我们有在踹一些6寸的，不过现在应该是在 X 上面 ，Nico 应该没有踹吧？有没有回答我？我了解的是 F3内部有用 X 在踹6寸的，那我们有长出一些结果。那我们有建一个小的 process line 在 process 一些6寸的，但是目前来讲沙牌还是太贵了啊，就是看沙牌啊，你看虽然它长的面积会变多，可是我2寸的沙牌可能才300多 micro， 可是6寸的沙牌我可能要1000多 micro， 那最后你要把它磨掉。从那个材料的观点来讲，目前我们内部在评估6寸还没有很大的 benefit， 所以告诉我们还没有很大的了解说把其他的设备用到6寸来会有什么大问题，所以我没办法回答你。OK。
那我们今天因为时间的关系，就可能就在这个方面上面跟大家we'd like to thank the moderator for this panel discussion. Thank you. Today's seminar has come to an end. On behalf of LED Inside and Trend Force, thank you for your participation and